All right, everybody, we're about ready to start. Yes, yes, gather your seats. Elina, lights, lights, lights. Awesome, and this is how our space turns into an event space. So I'm Anya, I'm the owner of this book space. I don't know what other term to come up with for this, whatever we're in. This is both a library of books that you can actually check out. A lot of them rare books at this point, as Russia is banning more and more books, including children's literature. And a bookstore that sells books in Russian, Ukrainian, and English, translated from all over the world. The idea to open the space came, honestly, after the murder of Navalny, when I realized that a lot of Russian-speaking people are going to be now, well, staying here without a place to go home to. And I wanted to organize a community of like-minded individuals speaking some of the same languages, where we can gather for events like this, listen to wonderful poetry and music, and share, both for kids, which we have events for during the day, and for adults, because, well, I'm an adult, and this is interesting for me as well. Today, I'm very honored to have here four or more amazing presenters. And of course, we're gathered here to celebrate the book launch of OVID VOID by Ostashevsky, who is right there. We are going to do this. So first of all, our event is being live streamed on YouTube. If you don't want to appear on video, especially linked to the space for any reason, don't appear in front of the camera. Otherwise, your privacy is safe. But this will allow you and any of your friends later on to log into our YouTube channel and watch the entirety of this event. And if you're interested in events like this, please subscribe, and then you will be able to see a lot more. We've already had here book launches of The Showman by Simon Schuster, when it first came out translated into Russian, the biography of Zelensky. We also had lovely Olga Bukhina with her books about life and death and children's literature. We like interesting themes here, so I welcome you here. Safety reason, we do have a fire exit, just in case there's an entrance you came in through, and there's a fire exit right there, because we're kind of a full space today. There's also a restroom at the end of this. Welcome again, enjoy, and I would love to meet all of you after the formal part of this event is over, and we continue mingling with the lovely wines and food and everything else. So thank you. Right now, I'm going to present Matvey Yankelevich, who is going to present everybody else, and the World Poetry Books, I don't know, organization, association. Oh, I also wanted to say just a couple of words, because it was brought to my attention, of course, that today is 9th of May, which is the day that Russia celebrates victory over fascism. And the Victory Day in Russia. The only thing I wanted to say about it is that, yes, because it's being used as propaganda to excuse the war and the attack of Ukraine, we don't particularly feel like celebrating it, but of course we'll remember all those who are worth remembering today. And read poetry. So Matvey, come. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Victory over fascism. Someday we'll see it in our own country. Maybe in our lifetimes. So I'm going to be presenting introducing the readers for tonight. I'm Matvey. I'm the editor for World Poetry. We also have with us in the crowd James Luke, who can wave in the back there. Who is our publicity director. If you have any questions or want to sign up on our list, which is back there, or just want to know more, talk to us. Also, Anya here, one of our new intern, is in the back. So anyway, please, and Liz Gray, one of our board members, is here. So please feel free to talk to any of us about what we're doing, what we're up to. It's really great to have you all here in person and all of you out there online. Millions of people in the stadium
who will watch this. We'll make sure.
Space, at Barclays. So, I also wanted to just say a few ad-libbed, words about tonight's event. which is, of course, a presentation of this chapbook special edition that we are about to publish. So this is like a pre-publication launch. OVID VOID is, in a way, Eugene Ostashevsky's translation of Maria Stepanova's poems, but it's also a collaboration with Maria Stepanova. I don't know why I said that. It's so weird. Maria Stepanova's well, anyway, Eugene will explain it better than I can. But Zhenya and Masha kind of collaborated in a way on this book. So it's not a typical translation, as you may end up seeing tonight or hearing. The other thing I wanted to say is we have quite an international event tonight. It's also in a way put together with some sense that hello, Peter. It's also an event that features all the writers tonight, not necessarily born into English, and have chosen English as a language they work in, or one of several languages they work in. They are writers that are writing among and between and betwixt languages. And so we've brought them together to do all kinds of different things, whether it's a kind of translation, whether it's a kind of multilingual poetics, whether it's a kind of sound poetry. All of this, the work you'll hear tonight, variously engages this multilingual space. So we're very pleased to have it at my biblioteca, which is a fantastic project, and Anya, thank you for hosting us. So I'll introduce our readers will be Elina Alter, followed by Ernesto Estrella, then Inna Krasnoper, and Eugene Ostashevsky finally at the end. So I'll introduce each one as before they go up. Okay, here we go. Elina Alter is a writer and translator. Her translations include Alla Gorbunova's It's the End of the World, My Love, It's the End of the World, My Love, that's one thing. Comma confused me, okay. And Oksana Vasakina's Wound. Her translations of Gorbunova's Ings and Oughts and Vasakina's Step are forthcoming. She teaches writing at Columbia. Please welcome Elina.
Elina, should you or anybody else need a microphone? We have a microphone right there.
Okay, cool. Let's test it out. Can you hear me? Is it on?
You have to turn it on.
Yeah, no one can hear me. Can you hear me better now? Yes. Yeah, cool. Okay. Hi, thanks for coming. It's very unpleasant outside. It's very nice to see you guys here. I'm going to read a couple of very short things from the upcoming Alla Gorbanova collection, which we're calling Things and Thoughts now. It might change even by the time it's out in the fall. So if you have thoughts about how to translate puns, I would love to hear them. The collection is full of little short stories, but I thought it would be fun to start with one that also kind of reaches back to Greek mythology, since that seems to be on theme tonight. So if you guys remember Scylla and Charybdis from the Odyssey, perhaps, right? They're in the Mediterranean and sailors have to make their way between them. They're like monsters, except in this story, they're not exactly that. It's very short. It's called The Lives of Monsters. There once was a guy who was seeing two girls at once, Scylla and Charybdis. They pretended not to know about each other, but really they knew, though they'd never met in person. At night, they looked through each other's photos on social media. In these pictures, Charybdis could see very clearly that Scylla had the head of a dog and that her legs were the tails of fishes covered in scales. And Scylla saw very clearly that Charybdis was not a woman, but a whirlpool. In the watery vortex that was Charybdis, Scylla discerned the desire to get married at any price. And Scylla's fishtails clearly indicated to Charybdis that her rival led a life of debauchery. But the guy didn't see anything like that. From his point of view, Scylla and Charybdis were just girls like any other girls. One had really good breasts, the other a great ass. but he liked Charybdis better because she always paid for herself at the cafe, and so eventually he married her. More in this. Okay. Incidental pleasures doesn't have anything to do with mythology, but may be recognizable to some people for other reasons. Vasily lives through incidental pleasures. Not even really lives, he just survives. Say he's heading home on the metro and he's really hungry, and he thinks, I'll get home and then I'll kill myself. But he's really hungry, so he goes to a cafe and he eats some junk there, and he starts feeling pleasantly relaxed and too lazy to kill himself, and he moves the whole thing to tomorrow. Then Vasily remembers that tomorrow X is coming over and they're going to have amazing sex, so he postpones suicide to the day after that. And so it drags on, incidental pleasures and delayed execution. Each new pleasure is a reason to defer. This helps Vasily to fool death and to fool himself, and to wait in secret for one fine day when meaning will come into his life again. Not the same kind of meaning that had been there earlier at some point before it was lost, but an even better meaning, a new one, which will have in it something of all the meanings and all the aims that he has ever had, and will also contain something else, something that had never been there previously. And then Vasily will really live. But in the meantime, all the world's pleasures, all its small joys will sustain him. Bistros and coffee shops, cheesecake and Coca-Cola, gripping books and fun TV shows, bars and movie theaters, and time with friends, and attractive women, and sweet cats, springtime parks, warm baths, good tobacco. All of these things seem to call out to him, live, Vasily. Although we can't provide you with anything greater than ourselves, we also won't leave you. We'll stand between you and death until you find something better than us. Nothing better has thus far been found. Vasily eats well, sleeps soundly, goes to the movies, sees friends, takes walks around the city. How am I doing on time? Good? Okay. Let's do another story from Ings and Thoughts, Ings and Thoughts, my god, which will be out in November, and maybe maybe I'll stop there. It's called Mishenka the Contrarian, and I guess it's also somewhat appropriate for the holiday, though I hadn't thought of it. Okay. Mishenka the Contrarian. He denied everything, including the location of the earth below and the sky above. A happy man, Mishenka the Contrarian. He was the most wicked and disobedient boy in his class back at the end of the 40s. He did everything backwards out of spite, and so his teacher nicknamed him accordingly, Mishenka the Contrarian. He understood early on that things did not work the way adults said they did. His mother would tell him that it's not good to litter, and in his own mind, Mishenka would flip the not good to good, and litter with delight. When he saw someone else littering, he was happy too. When he saw someone crying, he was glad. When he saw someone hurting the weak, he was overjoyed. After all, if things like that don't make you happy, life can be painful. So unbearably painful. There's so much violence and injustice and hunger and death everywhere. And Mishenka didn't want to be in pain, so he swapped things around in his head. He'd been doing this since he was a little boy when he saw a soldier in the occupied village of Obuchovka, and right before his eyes, the soldier struck Mishenka's father. He had felt several things at once then: horror, outrage, hate. These things were suffocating him until he finally burst out laughing. Soon after, he figured out that the minute he heard some inner voice, his mother's voice or the voice of human morality entering into a child's soul, telling him that something wasn't good, he could immediately summon up another voice, mighty and superhuman, probably belonging to that very same soldier, and that voice would laugh and tell him, rejoice. And that's how Mishenka the Contrarian re-educated himself, and learned to see as good everything that people normally understand as evil, and everything that people normally see as evil, he saw the other way as good. All his life, he rejoiced at death's misfortunes and the blows of fate, and he grew despondent in those rare moments when something compelled him to tenderness and pity, or when he came across something beautiful or listened to music. He knew that the obverse of beauty and music were pain, loss, and doom, and so he couldn't be happy with these things like other people. He fell in love with a young woman once, but he told her, you're going to get old and ugly anyway, and then you'll die. And he left her. While he had loved her, he had felt a dull, unremitting animal ache, but when he left her, he felt better. Mishenka the Contrarian thought that he'd outsmarted life, which so amply produced causes for suffering, and scattered them beneath people's feet like acorns from an oak tree, while he, in the alchemical vessel of his soul, had transformed all the acorns of suffering into the gold of gladness, and because of this, he was happier than other people. A nasty old man. At this very moment, he's hanging out of his bedroom window with a slingshot, shooting at pigeons and cursing toothlessly. He aims at the most beautiful white dove, and his aim is true.
you, Elina. I guess maybe I should use this too. No.
It's on.
It's on. Okay. Thank you, Elina. I'm looking forward to that book. It's amazing. Is that the vellum also? No.
Yes.
It's both. Who's doing Step?
Step is catapult. This
Step is
the
going to be on Catapult. So check out Elina's translations of Oksana Vasyakina and Olga Gorbanova. Yeah. From Deep Vellum and from Catapult. So next up, we will have Ernesto Estrella, a curator, poet, and musician who specializes in the art of vocal performance across different genres, including contemporary music, guided meditation, sound walks, and songs. Come on up.
That last poem reminded me of the Mean Talking Blues by Woody Guthrie. It's a masterpiece of poetry and enunciation. So I'm gonna do two pieces. One is coming more from my work with voice and sound and compositions, about bringing the audience to the core of the poem, to the magma where the poem is created, where the decisions are taken, and then I'll follow up with a nice caress of a poem that blends a little bit the meditation with the actual poetry reading. Okay, if you give me a second, I'll set up and I'll start. This first piece is called Noche Cerrada and is dedicated to the body of boxing, actually to Mike Tyson. Sal, y el cuerpo y estás somado, mis piernas, somado, actitud de la piel. Murmura. Caminas una jaula. Te están mirando el espejo. Te mira el espejo. Te da mitad. Que no tiene. Mudas. Piso interior. Cabeza. Ven. Cálida, gota, viento. El centro inundado de hambre. La obediencia, tu memoria en mis pasos, deja de tu boca temblor solo el mío. Hielo sauciado el ritmo. Únicamente tu arena vacía late. Aquí, ahora, desde la sal, un hilo sobre la sal, de robo duro en robo al interior. Noche cerrada. Body. Inhale exhale normally, as if it was normal, as if oxygen was equal. But inhale and exhale, and now that you've gained access to your animal rights, try the next step. This time now, exhale others. Yes, exhale others over and over again during the whole day. And then, when you get tired, when there's nothing left in you, yes, at that moment, then inhale others. Yes, inhale others. Actually, inhale everybody. Take your time. Take us to that place. Take all the time there is. The night will come to your day at some point. So then, when it's dark outside, again, exhale yourself. And yes, you got it. Inhale others. Persist on this rhythm until death makes us one, which will not be today. Your day is simple. Your heart is clean. And your best chakras are always in someone else's body. Thank you.
Thank you. Ernesto, thank you. I'm so glad I got to hear you finally in real life. Next up we have also traveling from Berlin, Inna Krasnoper, a poet and artist born in Ufa and based in Berlin. She is the author of 2 collections of Russophone poetry. And her English language poetry has appeared in 2 chapbooks, I think one of which is available here from Eulalia Books, and in the magazines Annulet, Vestiges, and 128 Lit, and others. And her full-length English language poetry collection, Distance, was published by Valise Books in 2025. This year, it's here, I think, copies.
Yeah.
So please welcome Inna Krasnoper.
Hi, I'm your reader. I'm reading your work. I stay on my side of the lane. I outline what is here on the line, in the landscape of your text, in the scope of vermeiden, vermissen, misreading, mistreating, misreacting, vermischen. I get mixed up. Я теряюсь в твоем тексте. Poetics или поэтика, поэтики множественного или единственного, fourth person singular, fourth person they, Versehen. Aus Versehen habe ich hier was anderes gesehen. Gerät, geredet, gerät, vehicle, art as vehicle, vehicular language as opposed to язык перемещения, язык колесо, языку звук, свыкнуться тут, sich gewöhnen, останусь здесь, взвесь, взболтать, пассеровать, взболтнуть, вывалить, шлепая, тащись на шлейпдау за птичкой. This is west of time. This is east of time. Here you go south of time. There, north. North went south. East, stayed. Ezekiel, stayed. Isaac, searched. Искал. Искали, Out of the mountain comes the sun before it goes off the rails. Everyone searched for the sun. It had to be found, it had to be fine before it went the other direction. Who was abducted, A or B? Кто остался? Who was stunned by an оса from the land of Oz? Озверевшая оса не осталась. She left to the place where the sun didn't stay, couldn't stand staying. Osa is Vespa on the western side of the east-west axis. Ax of time, ox of time, crush, ear, and oa of time. Es ist laut in der Wüste der Zeit, of sight, where all went, seeking Isaac, Izok, Izavsa, Izvos, Zov of time, call me. The following is the translation of my Russophone poem made by Elina and me. A comet has fallen on my land, rolled off the tongue, unbidden. Not again about your tongue, bitter. Every night above my land, comets flash by, collecting the tales of my dreams and yanking them out for good by the root. Every night my land fills out the district of Chertanova, walking, stalking every street, the comet watch, spin spoke widget, whirlpool pattern. My land stands intact, insinuating the facts between the letters, territorial blow below the beat, below the belt, bellow. My land billows its train and glowers, grows, caterwauls like a caterpillar, gathers its train and rolls in, wraps up, rushing away from my land, the experimental dark foresters going by woods by weight, sinking down, donning shame, worn like a scarf wrapped around, fraying out, fluttering forth for once a quarter, the hour beats the thought corpus of the bone-weary station, missing its jawbone. And I'll finish with the original. На мою землю свалилась комета. Она сошла с языка, но речь не о нем. Каждую ночь вокруг моей земли сверкают кометы. Они подбирают хвосты моих снов и выдергивают их навсегда, с корнем. Каждую ночь моя земля наполняет Чертаново. Каждую улицу ходит и обходит вокруг. Кометный дозор, острометный прибор, водоворотный узор. Моя земля стоит intact, но ее уже нет. Она заходит за тактический удар в такт, поддых, подворот. Подворачивает моя земля подол и зыркает, каркает, как каракатица, подбирает подол и закатывает, залатывает ад Летают от моей земли опытные чернолесы, отходят лесом, под весом спускаются вниз, надевая позор, как узор, чей намотанный шарф, размахрившийся раз, шевелившийся раз, в квартал бьют часы по талому стану, уставший станции, утративший челюсть. Thank you and congrats on the chapbook.
Inna, thank you. That was fantastic. It's such a treat to have had you here for a while in the States on your various tours, because I've gotten to hear you in different places and see you perform. More than I ever have. So it's been really amazing, and I really recommend Inna's new book. Okay, well, those of you who have just arrived are here in time for the main event, Eugene Ostashevsky. Those of you perhaps unfamiliar, I had mentioned World Poetry Books before, but I forgot to say what is World Poetry Books. You probably could tell from the name of it, although I love what Anya says, the World Poetry Books Organization. We're an organization, indeed, a nonprofit organization that is focused on publishing poetry in translation from all around the world, from different traditions, different time periods, all into English. We don't publish anything written originally in English. That's the one part of the world we don't do. We don't translate into English. But so yeah, and again, please come up and say hello to us, James and me, and Peter, the publisher, is here now. So and Liz. So please come in and talk to us about it. We do a number of events, including something called Colloquy, which is a event series for translators to have a time to read and also have conversations around different themes and translations. So please sign up for our events, follow us on all the socials, and we have one coming up at the end of May. So at Unnameable Books, I think, which is just down the street, one of the best bookstores in town. So yes. So without further ado, I'll introduce Eugene. His chapbook is for sale. OVID VOID is for sale in the back. It's a limited edition, so get it while you can. Eugene is a translingual poet and an experimental translator. His Feeling Sonnets that came out last year. Yeah?
Yeah.
Feeling Sonnets 2 years ago. Also in the back there. Examine the effects of speaking a non-native language on emotions, parenting, and identity. An earlier book, The Pirate Who Does Not Know the Value of Pie, discusses communication difficulties between pirates and parrots. As a translator, Ostashevsky is known for his editions of the Russian avant-garde. Please welcome Eugene Ostashevsky.
Thank you. Do I need this? Do I need this? Can you hear me in the back? Yeah? No, not so much? All right. This is better? Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me explain this project. It kind of happened accidentally. It's basically a translation, but a very free translation of Maria Stepanova's Ovid poems. In the winter of 2020-2021, she was in the suburbs of Moscow. I was in a quarantine hotel in Shanghai, and I saw that she posted a poem online, which was a variation of Ovid's, one of the first poems in Ovid's Tristia. So I did a variation of the variation. And then the next day she posted another poem, so I did a variation of that.
Did you post them?
Yeah, I posted them. I posted them like she would post something and then I would post something in, whatever, 2 hours or. So, and there's about 20 of them total. So it's kind of it's free translation with feedback, right? Because the author of the original is working pretty much at the same time. So I've been in that position because once, when Uliana was translating my pirate book into German, I was still writing it. So I started putting things in that would be hard for her to translate. Okay, so three. Baby book, toothless libel, my fool, literally begot in time's bosom, where there's nobody but us, to quote the police, toddle to that global city where multitudes buzz, darting iridescent like dragonflies over Assyrian channels, unshaven go in washed out clothing, feet with blisters and corns, face swollen with tears, modestly enter that felicitous city of old-time love, go to Piazza Mattei, via Giulia, via Funari, stay composed, say still living, that should be sufficient. Let them pose questions if they care. Of questioners, there won't be too many, each looking over her shoulder to see what she could see. As for the rest, they'll be dismissive because they gain by being dismissive. Don't mind them. To curl up in the hands of the reader is your lot, lucky complainer. Would I were you, but I'm not. So if you know Ovid's Tristia, his exile poems, right, you can see the skeleton of the poem is basically from there. It's a fairly normal Latin kind of book beginning. And then Masha put her own variation on it. And then I also threw in some things because I was thinking of Brodsky, his relationship to Ovid. So, for example, I threw in Roman street names that are particularly associated with Brodsky's poems. Mm-hmm. And there's other stuff. There's Mandelstam in there and stuff like that. I remember everything as it is. I forgot nothing. Even that today is National Poetry Day. It's not like I know how to anymore. Poems are playthings of the happy who like to pretend they're unhappy. But still to think of the way all of you shuffle this way and that for poetry readings, pile together on the reception bar, still in your laurels, and not a single one to interrupt the gossip, the heartfelt welcomes from the august sponsors, the stage whispers that at the release of Senator so-and-so's sophomoric lyric collection, Falernian will be served. Set down the cup and be like, anybody heard from Nazo? Or simply, let's drink to those who cannot be with us today. It makes me want to spit iams your way. A hail of iams, blunt like the arrowheads of local production. The only thing they got here that passes for souvenirs. If I only had a brain, that's not Brodsky. If I only had a brain, I could think of the laurel swaying in the rain outside while lights go on in the house. Remember the shop signs letter by letter and wail like Isis recollecting Osiris. If I only had a heart, I could embrace you in my unimaginative nightly scenarios. When I have arms now, I throw them around you, but the hands do not recognize your back. They grab onto the shoulder blades and then panic. Or at least I could contemplate awakening then, how different it was from awakening now. I wouldn't then be thinking this shameful bullshit of how my books are doing. Books, you ruined my life. Is anyone reading you, my poor, lovely, hysterical books? Who is reading you? Get out of my head, refugees. Hobble away on your so-called feet, one dactylic, the other trochaic. Beg for asylum at the modern library. See if they take you. I had your tongue in my cheek, but I bit it off and spat it out. What God, what hero? You want to hold my id? How about you translate the heroids into Sarmatian? You, meaning me. It's my feminist book because the speakers are women. They sure could use poems by, or at least about, women. About time they get some culture other than buttermilk in this country. Like ubi ego, ibi Roma, and snow is like poor man's marble, and my homeland is my language, and my language is my homeland. My homeland is a motherfucking Greek tragedy. How about you composing a Getic cosmogony? You, meaning me, something about the world having intestinal worms, and the whole thing in couplets to hawk it back home at the colonial wares emporium with honey from Attica, German bloodwurst, and other representative products of traditional cultures. Or how about you, meaning me, opening a village school to instruct about the women in history, meaning herstory, indifferently abandoned by gods and heroes. Dido on the beach, Ariadne on the beach. You, meaning you, when they led me away, falling in the doorway and lying there face down. So what's there to do when there's nothing to do? We sing like we schwitz. That's the covenant. Convicts sing. Truckers sing. So do the homeless. The seamstress at the sewing machine hums under her breath. Same for me. I sing myself. Read myself. Praise myself for a turn of phrase, because who else will? I am old, gray like an ashtray, but I'm still at it, as if it weren't poems that got me to the far north in the first place, as if those who don't write me back care that somebody sings so as not to croak, as if literature were more than evermore litter, as if Caesar himself is, before hitting the pillow, asks his manager what news there be of that poet, whether he's being productive up there in his artist colony. So the original, by the way, says "в своем Воронеже," which is a reference to Mandelstam. And I just thought translating "в своем Воронеже" as "in his artist colony" would just be my kind of translation. Okay, I'll read one more. I'm so thankful they showed us to our seats, you and me. To you they said, don't make such a racket. You know whose wife you are. Keep your head down with that profile. The sins of the fathers will not be visited on the sons. But you're no son, are you? Whereas me, I finally got reviewed. I mean that literarily. I am the recipient of feedback. I write the same thing over and over again, they say, going on and on about the weather, the cold especially. It's tedious. There's no fire in it. And I keep asking my friends to do things, like for them to ask their friends to do things. It's somewhat tactless to guarantee nothing happened, but never again, to highly recommend to the attention. And then there's the, it's cold here, am I to die here? I'm sorry to bother you again, but I don't have anyone else. Over and over again. It's tedious, there's no fire in it. And so inconsiderate of others to carry on like that, like some beggar woman outside Porta San Paolo, begging with that tinny voice of hers, who'll go on begging with that tinny voice of hers until all Rome is ruined and the Tiber reflects only clouds as it bears to Ostia. Thank you. For the conclusion, I want to say where I got the last line, because that's really about translation. So the last line, which is very different from the original, I mean, the thought is in the original, but not Ostia and Tiber, is from, at the end of the 17th century, there was this Polish guy who studied in Salamanca and then wound up going to Russia, where he was arrested, and basically wound up translating a Polish translation of a German Jesuit Neo-Latin poem about Rome, and that's where the line is from.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it's really... Thank you.
You want to say the last word?
Sure. Maybe. Yes.
Yes, I can do this. Thank you everybody for joining us here. I see more people trickled in as we went on. I love this, and I realized as we were doing this, and actually as he told more about the World Poetry Books organization, that this is perfect for this store, because I also focus on literature and translation, and I think I come from academia, and my academic work has always been about immigrant literature and literature and translation, and what it gains when it becomes translated. So I love that you all are here. Thank you so much to our amazing performers, readers, poets. And since you're all here and interested in this event, I will pitch you our next literary one, which is going to be Starykovsky, who is an amazing poet.
Who's an amazing translator.
Yes, and an amazing translator. He'll be here with Polishuk and Dodina, who'll be showing their film, actually documentary, and that's happening, and that's already on our website. So sign on to our email blast, check out our website, and come to more events. And I hope we get to do more events with you guys. Thank you.
Stick around, buy books, and
Yes.
chat. And
Definitely.
We'll be
We're gonna just pick up the chairs and move them out of the way, open up more space for everybody to mingle. We have plenty of wine, plenty of snacks. Please stick around and enjoy this company.
around.